Good evening, everyone. Nice to
Yeah.
see you. This week, as I said last week, we're going to look at the user interface of importing. And from experience, I feel having conversations with lots of people that importing module is dismissed by so many. I feel, and I'm not right and I'm not wrong, it's just an opinion, that the import dialog module or pop-up is actually really important. And if you spend time to really understand and master it, you could probably do 90%, even 95% of all your management of your images on import. And Mr. Weeks will know about this little button. There's a secret little button hidden away. It wasn't for years. We didn't find it. Or you can save it all as a preset. So if you take particular types of images, you're a wildlife photographer and you photograph eagles a lot, you can create presets. So by pressing three buttons, you can import a complete narrative from a weekend away photographing eagles. And the trick is to actually think about what do you want from your digital asset management, i.e., what's your workflow? What's your end goal? And that's really important. It's the methodical way that I've worked in a lot of things in life. That's where I want to get to. And how am I going to get there? And I work backwards. So, for example, I wanted to do a PhD in photography. I did not have the doctoral skills, the research skills, in to do a PhD in photography. So I methodically work my way back and say, where do I start? And the first port of call was walking into my local community college and having a conversation with them. But I methodically worked out a route, a journey to get to where I wanted to get to. And that is the same with importing and digital asset management. And I know that's really difficult to get your head around, or it can be, because you don't know what the tools are. You don't know what you can do. So it's like, oh, I want to drive to that city, but I don't know how to drive. I don't know how to put petrol in the car. I don't know how to read a map. I don't even know that I need to put petrol in the car. So I totally understand that. Oh, what do I do? So what I'm proposing to do tonight, we're gonna look at the user interface of what the input module is. And next week, we're actually going to do a full workflow. So we may import some images tonight. I've got them ready to do that, um, depending on time. But really understand what the import dialog box can do. Okay. And from there, we can work out actually where we want to get to. Okay. Anyone got any questions about that? Okay. So there we go. Right. I am in Classic. I'm in the library module, and bottom left hand corner is import. So we're going to hit there. And this is the full dialog for um, the import module. And hidden away down in the corner, yes, I can click on it. This is the minimum import dialog, which we won't look at tonight. If we get a chance, we might, but I doubt it. So if you hit this bottom little triangle, bottom left-hand corner, it'll open up to the full dialog. And basically, it's like writing. You're going from the left and you're ending up in the right. So it's understanding what each of the columns, the panels, and the boxes and so on actually do. So left-hand panel, that is where your files currently are. Okay, nice and simple. So they're here. They're highlighted here. Classic, the way I've got Classic set up, it's already found this chip. There's a chip plugged into, it's an SD card plugged in from my Nikon ZF into the reader on the computer. But you're not seeing any images because as default, it says do not include subfolders. This is a subfolder where it says 100 NCZF. So I've got to click there and then the dialog will come up. Subfolders are now included. Press OK. Do not show. In my main catalog, I've ticked that, but I'm not going to tick it because it's a training catalog. And we actually have this tick box here, subfolders, non-subfolders. So once you've done it once, you get this little tick box. And if there are subfolders, it will then include them. Now, where do subfolders come from? Well, that comes on your chip and how you've set your camera up. So most cameras out of the factory, they will just chuck all the media, whatever it is, into one folder. However, you might do astrophotography, you might do time-lapse photography, you might shoot RAW and JPEG. And in most cameras, you can say this type of photograph, so it's a time-lapse, put it in a folder on that card. If it's a video, you can say put it on chip number 1 if you've got 2 cards in your camera, and put it in a folder called video. And you can set that up in camera. So when you plug your chip in or your camera in using a USB-C cable, you might have 5 folders down here with time-lapse, with HDR, with focus stacking, and each of those types of photography and file format, so RAW and JPEG, you can split them at time of capture, can be in different folders. And this is why we've got the do not. So I would now say only import the videos or only import the RAW files. I don't want to import all the images. And that's why that is there. Okay. Remember, Lightroom has to cater for every type of photographer, what they shoot. Okay. Some photographers might have a catalog for RAW files, a catalog for JPEG files. So that's why they're in 2 different folders on the same chip if they've only got 1 chip in their camera. Okay.
Mark, may I
Yes,
just
David.
interrupt? In that scenario, if you had a number of folders on there, every
Yep.
time you cleared the card, you'd have
Yep.
to reset folders, presumably.
No, because it's burnt into the camera. You've set it up on the camera in the menus. On your Z9, you can set it in the menus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
So, and then you just reformat the card and it will rewrite, it will create a folder on the card and away you go. All right. So that's what this subfolder is. On slower media, so SD cards, not CF cards, not SSD hard drives, you get this box here, eject after import. And basically the media card will dismount so you can unplug it without corrupting any files. My workflow is I have that unticked. And the reason why is I batch import. And we'll look at that in depth next week, what batch import is. But for telling you now, I import in narrative. So if I've got my date and time structure, so all the images that were taken today go together today. They're filed today, but I will go through each. Oh, sunrise along the beach. So I'll select those 8 images. Oh, this is of the railway. So I'll select those 12 images and I'll batch import them because I will keyword them on time of import. So once I've finished importing, all my digital asset management is done. Everything is done. So I will spend a few moments longer here knowing everything's done in the future. Okay. So left hand side is, oh, sorry. And the reason why I tick the box is I don't want to keep putting the card in, take the card out, putting the card in, taking it. So if I don't eject the card, it's always in the machine. Okay. The machine knows it's always there. You do not have this tick box, this eject box, if it's a CF Express type A, type B, or an SD card, an SSD drive. Because of the operating system, it says, oh, that's a real fast drive. It can't be an external media. So it's an operating system issue. So you don't get that there. It's something outside of Adobe's control. So this is where the images are. Okay. In the middle is what am I going to do with them? So I'm planning ahead. So these are the images. Okay. How am I going to import them? So I'm going to copy them as DNGs. Am I just going to copy them and keep them in the original file format? That's very useful if you shoot with picture styles. Picture styles are recipes of colors. So Fuji, Sony, Canon, Nikon, they all do them where you can fine tweak in the camera colorization. So if you liked T-Max, for example, the old Kodak black and white, or Tri-X, or Ilford HP5, FP4, you can get the recipes. They're publicly available online for what's the contrast, what's the black point, what's the white point, and what's the saturation in blacks and so on, etc. You can get all that information and you can download the recipe and import it into your camera. Most cameras nowadays will actually have recipes already in there, but you can put your own. So if you like Fuji Provia, Velvia, Vista, Lustrum, Ektachrome, of course, Kodachrome 64, all those recipes of saturation of colors are available online for you to download totally free of charge. Okay, go off to Fuji, go off to Sony. I can't remember. There's a Nikon one. There's a guy that's actually spent, it's his whole hobby, what he does, and he makes it all readily available. And he gives you a preview. You can upload your own picture, or you can see samples. I can't remember what it's called now. It's a Nikon site that does that, and you can download the recipe. You can import the recipe into your camera, so you can shoot it as normal, or you can apply the recipe. That is why you would copy, or one reason why you would copy the file and not convert it to a DNG. So you're preserving those colors, those adjustments that you've made in camera. Okay. And you can do them in RAW files and you can do them in JPEGs as we get better in technology. Moving, you might just want to move your files from one location to another location. And if you've already, for example, you've gone on Safari and you've only got 6 chips and you fill up 6 chips each day, and you've taken an external drive with you, a 4 TB SSD drive with you, and you've already got them in the file structure that you want them to be in, you can just click Add. So Lightroom Classic will not move them, will just physically add them where they are to the catalog. Okay. So that's how we're getting them in and what type of transaction. And then now we're going to say what type of file. So new images, And if we come over to the right-hand side, I'm jumping ahead at the moment, there's a box here. It says, do not import suspected duplicates. So you can see all your images. And then if you click new images and this is ticked on, if there's any duplicates, any images that you've previously imported, I batch import, they will grey out because I've got this box ticked and I've clicked new images. Destination folder, it's where they're going. Okay, that is, it's preserving the filing structure. Remember I said at the beginning of where they are video, time lapse, it's preserving that. So you're looking at that structure. Okay, so we have thumbnails. These are all the images. These are just
Could
going
I
from
just ask a question, please, Mark?
Yeah, sure, Granville.
Sorry, I always copy as DNGs, but in fact, what are DNGs, please?
DNGs, it is a digital negative. It's what it stands for. It's Adobe's file format. Okay, so Canon, Nikon, Fuji, Sony, Pentax, all the rest of them and so on, Panasonic, they've all got their own systems and they've all got their own code. They've all got their own way of doing something. And if you actually looked into the machine code for a 1980s terminology, you'll see how it's written, and it's written all differently. So every time a manufacturer brings out a new camera or a new lens, Adobe has to write some code. And the philosophy was that Adobe was spending millions and millions of hours a year in doing this. So Nikon is NEF. They had an NRW, I think, which was the Nikon 1 file format for RAW. Canon's got CR1, CR2, CR3. I expect they've got another one as well. Therefore, so every time they bring out new functionality, technology moves on. Adobe has got to compromise or spend time research and development. Well, what they did was they said, we're fed up of doing this. What we're going to do is we're going to make a standard and we're going to call it digital negative and we're going to give it away. And I think Leica, Mr. Weeks, Panasonic, they shoot DNG, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so Panasonic shoot in DNG. I think Leica shoot in DNG. I think Hasselblad, which is now DJI or whoever it is, or somebody, they shoot in DNG, which is the file format that Adobe, it's their own raw format. What's the advantages of using it? Well, if you shoot multiple brands, the information is all in the same order and it is a slightly smaller raw file. So it's just personal choice. These are NEF files. I moved to DNG some years ago. I haven't had any problems since. So, but there are times, especially when I use my Nikon ZF, I will leave them in the NEF file. And what Jay said earlier, I will show you what I do with that format. So that's what that is. It's you're doing a conversion process from a CR2, CR3, NEF, NRW, whatever, into Adobe's RAW format.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Yeah. And what Adobe said at the time was there may be a point, and I'll say, do you remember JPEG 2000? That standard, that JPEG, Japanese picture graphic or something it stands for, is 25 years old. Well, who uses it today? We use JPEG, but it's moved on. The standards moved on. So Adobe said when they released this, there may be a point we will no longer support that file extension, that file format. So you can't open it anymore. They did throw that in there. They haven't yet done it, but that's there. So that's what DNG is for. It's their own proprietary raw format. Some CAM manufacturers shoot in that, but the three big ones don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can on import, if you click this, it will copy. So it doesn't move, it doesn't, and will convert them as a part of the transaction, the part, the moving or the copying. Sorry, it's not moving, it's copying the file. It will convert it into a, so it's got like a 3, 4, 5 steps depending on what you ask it to do. It'll do one thing, then it will do the next thing, then it will do the next thing, then it will do the next thing. And a part of that is it will be copying it. It will copy it as an F file, then it will change it to a DNG format. And you can do that manually later. So that's what that is. Okay, so bottom center panel, bottom right hand corner, we have thumbnail slider. Just like in the grid module, you can slide in and out just down the bottom right hand corner. Sorting, you can sort several different ways, and normally capture time is most people, but you know, file name, file type, media type, file type and media type. Media if it's a video, file type is the extension. So if you're shooting JPEG, shooting RAW, you know, you can shoot that. So you can put all your RAWs together, you can put all your videos together, file names, and so on. But capture time is my normal time. And then you've got sort backwards, sort forwards. So capture time, this image top left, which I just double clicked on. And press G, it's the same. G is grid view. Spacebar will untick, double tick, click on the image, will take you to it. And I can reverse the order of what it was showing them in. So that's in there. You've got your grid icon and then you've got your loop view. So that's the two icons down the bottom. And you can see at the moment they're all ticked, which means they're all going to be imported. But we can, one click, we can untick them all. And then what we can do is if we open up our thumbnails and say, right, Command, so that one, that one, that one, that one. And this is what I do because I import in narrative. So I'm looking at the thumbnail. So I will make the thumbnail bigger. That one, that one, that one, that one. I can either now tick the box if I wish. Yeah. And then continue with the importing. Okay, untick them all. And when I go to import the next lot, these ones that are imported, these ones will be grayed out, very much like this icon, this image at the moment, because I've already imported it. Because I will have this do not import duplicates. Okay. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So right-hand panel is where is it going to go? Okay. And when it's got there, what are we going to do with it? Okay. So this is we're telling Classic to actually do 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 25 things. And I'm making the numbers up because I don't know how many it does do. But we can actually tell it to do all these things. And they're in a production line. Okay. So we're programming our importing, which is what I was saying. Where do we want to get to? Once we've worked out where we want to get to, I wanted to rename it. I want to add it to a collection. I want to create a second copy. I want to create a one-to-one preview, a smart preview. I want to add these keywords. I want to develop it in a particular way. I want to add a metadata. I want to add the copyright information. You can tell it all of that. And down the bottom here is this magic button that I didn't learn about until probably what, about 3, 4, 5 years ago. David, do you remember when I started talking about this button on the bottom?
Oh,
2 or 3 years ago at least.
Yeah, yeah. I was on the trainer course with Adobe, and you could hear the gasps because this box here, once you've got it set up how you want to set it up, you can save it as a preset. So you can go click on the left, pick the images you want, select the preset, go import, done. So if you want to photograph eagles and you've got 150 pictures of a particular eagle, I don't know anything about eagles, but let's say male and female eagle, I assume, in a nest, flying, catching salmon and so on. You've got all these presets because they've got keywords in them, they've got descriptions in them, they've got locations in them, all this. You can save all that information. So you just go click, oh, I'm going to go to X eagle's nest. And I go click, 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 click. Yep, those are the ones sitting in the nest or feeding the babies or whatever. And you just go click here, select there, import. That's it done. That is it done. So thinking about where you want to get to and programming it, that's what you're doing. Saving a preset for something that you photograph a lot, speed up your time, just like that. So right-hand panel, this is where it's going to go and where, once it's got there, what are we going to do with it? Or what's Lightroom going to do with it? Now, in my opinion, I don't think we can. No, we can't. We got solo mode, so you open one and the others close. Okay. But in my opinion, destination should be at the top because that's the way I work. Well, where's it going to go? Okay, so if you get this part right in your filing structure, you will preserve the lifetime of your drive. Why do I say that? If it's an SSD, they got read-write limits, physical number of times the drive will write, number of the times the drive will read. More expensive the drive, normally the longer they will last. So if you put them in, I call it the final resting place, right first time, you're preserving the length of the drive because you haven't got to move 1,813 images. It's another read-write transaction. You're wearing the drive out. Same if it's a solid HHD, a mechanical drive. The needle is not spinning on the disc. The disc is still spinning around, but the needle, which is the fragile bit, is not moving. It's resting, waiting for something to be done. You're not wearing the drive out. So by working a filing structure, working it out, how am I going to file these images? And there's no right or wrong way. Mine are in date order. All the images that I took on one particular day, doesn't matter if I took them with a phone, whether I took them with a mirrorless, whether I took them with a small mirrorless, big mirrorless, infrared, whether I took them with the ZF, black and white, whatever. If I took 3 cameras out and I shot with 3 different cameras and a phone, they all go in the day they were taken. But I keyword them via narrative and then I sort them by collections. So I think destinations should go at the top. Now, we can organize by date. We have this drop down here, organize by original folder. So if you have a workflow of all your videos go in a folder on your chip, it will organize them by the original folder structure. Okay, do that automatically. Just tick that box. And whatever's on the chip, we'll preserve it and put it in on the drive by date. And then you can choose your date format. And there's the standard date formats. Okay, that are in Classic. We'll look at that later. And the last one is whatever you got on your chip, bung it all in one folder. And that's because you might have set up these dates already. You might have already set them up outside of Classic and pointed Classic to that already. Okay. And then you can put a subfolder within there. So if you're going to use the date and you want to split them, RAW and JPEG. So I'm going to import all the RAW files, but I want them in this date, in this folder structure, in this date here. But I want to put all the RAW ones in a folder called RAW. So it will go on the tree structure. It will go 2025 and it will go /. It will drop down a folder, folder 29 / RAW. And then I go to find the JPEGs and they'll put it in the same folder structure, but it'll create a folder called JPEG. And that's what that's for. And again, you can save all of this as a preset. And you can have 20 or 30, 40, 50, 200 if you want to go up and down the list, all the different presets. I would suggest only about a dozen. But that's just the location. Okay? But thinking about your file structure means that it's one-time import into one location. So now let's go to the top. File handling. When we talked a couple of weeks ago about catalog settings, we talked about previews. And this is where you have your preview selection. So minimal preview, sidebed. So we talked about XMP files, embedded and sidecart files, standard previews. Remember we looked at catalog settings and the size of your preview. So there's your size, your standard size, whatever's it, that setting. If I go back to catalog settings preview, whatever this size is here, that is your standard preview. So if I go back to import, so you're telling it it's going to make that's preview size, which is the preview size is every module outside of Classic. That's your previews outside of develop module. That's your preview size. Okay. And that's where you tell it to make your preview. So you could say make a 1-to-1. Now, because of my system, all mine are 1-to-1. Time is more important. I will spend the money on the device because time is important to me. Yeah, I'd rather spend £500 on the device because I can earn that in the morning, photography wise. Where if it takes me 3 hours to do something, and if I spend £500 on the device, then I could actually do it 4 times quicker, so I could earn more money. So I spend the money on the device, which allows me to do it quicker. So time is of relevant importance to me. So 1-to-1. So I set my previews as a 1-to-1 because time is important. Smart preview. We talked about smart previews. Smart previews are when you're mainly working on a laptop and you have a external direct attached storage or a network attached storage, and you want to take your laptop away with you, but you want access to all your files. Well, you create a smart preview. Okay, and the smart preview is the small raw file that sits by the side of the catalog, allowing you to edit, print up to a 10:8 print, and share online the smart preview. So by selecting these two options in your workflow, you can work away from your files. Now, Jay, this is for you, mate. No, it's not. It's the next one down. Sorry. Duplicate. Do not import suspected duplicates. This is in conjunction with this new photographs in the middle. So if I already had some of these images in, they will be grayed out because this is tick box there. It looks at the file name. It looks at the metadata. It looks at the camera serial number, the time it was taken, what was the lens, what was the shutter speed. And if it gets comparisons that equal, it says that's a duplicate file. Looks at file extension, file size, looks at size of the actual sensor size. So is it 6,400? It's not a smaller version. By ticking this box here, it doesn't import duplicates. Sorry, Jay, this is the one for you. So this is importing a second copy, but it doesn't go into Classic. So let's think of a way of explaining it. When you import into Classic, it will do everything you ask it to do. So it'll create the one-to-one, it'll create the preview, it'll put that next to the catalog, it'll apply renaming to the file, it will add it to a collection which is in the catalog, it'll add presets, it will convert the file, it'll do everything you ask it to do. But perhaps you want to create a copy of the file, but preserve the original file apart from the file renaming. Okay. So if I rename this file import as I import it, which I'd normally do, by ticking this box and choosing the location, could be on another drive, it will copy the file in the original format, changing the file name so both files are the same file name, and will not do anything else to that original file. It's as it comes out the camera, but with a new file name in the location you've asked it to go. Then all the other things you've asked it to do, it'll copy as DNG, okay, or just copy the file and apply all the actions you're going to ask Classic to do. So I'll show you in a drop down, apply during import down here in a second. It'll change it to a black and white, for example. It does not do that changing to black and white, those adding the keywords, those other metadata. It does not do that to this make a second copy. Does that help you, Jay?
Yes, but it does it rename it?
Yes, it renames it.
So it does rename, but doesn't do anything else.
Yeah. So what it will do is, here we go. So there's my, oh, it's not a really good image because it's in, there we go, it's in color. So this is the original file name here, come out the camera. This is the extent or the prefix that I gave the file name, and it converted it to a DNG. The copy file, the one that I've asked it will put MSP 2007-08-29. So this shot was taken on the 29th of August 2007. I own the copyright. It was taken at 12:14 and 35 seconds in the afternoon. It was shutter actuation number of 70,021, and it was taken with this serial number of the camera. That's what I can tell from my file renaming system. I do, or I have done work where I don't own the copyright, but I have the raw file and the first three digits are the copyright holder. Okay, so that's what that means to me. The file that it would have made, this would have been a raw file, an NEF file. This part to the dot would be the same, but it will stay as an NEF file.
So you could put it in the same folder on your
You
drive.
could do, yes, but I would not do that because you might get confused, especially if you go right click and sync
Right.
so if we go back, so if you get a problem or something in your folder structure or whatever, and you just want to go right click and synchronize folder, it will look in there and take all the files in there that aren't in Classic and bring them into Classic.
Ah, so it would bring in the NAF files.
Correct. So I would not do that. I would
Okay.
create at the hierarchical structure. So down here in photography, LRC training. Okay. So I would create a folder and call it raw images.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. So, yeah, or whatever the file format or whatever your thinking is. So when you import it, you've got this tick box and you're telling it where it's going to go, and it preserves as shot in camera, but it changes the prefix. So whatever we do in this panel, which is file renaming, whatever we do here, puts it at the front of the name or whatever we ask it to do. It will keep them the same, but the file format will stay the same. So one you might not change them. You might keep them all NEF, CR2s, any CR3s, etc. But if you convert to DNG, the one at this second location, okay, in this location, will be kept as an NEF. The one in your primary destination in this location will be converted to a DNG. Okay, it's how far do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you do it, Jay. You would
Okay.
tick that box and do that. That is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is just in the operating system, taking your chip, clicking on it and dragging them all into a folder and then just importing normally. But then you wouldn't have the files at the same file name. But you might not import and change your file name. So that would be fine. They're right or wrong answer, but that's the way I do it.
Mark,
Yes, was that David? No, it's Tim.
Tim, yeah,
Yes, Tim.
I'm trying to think of how to explain it. If when you're importing the pictures from your camera card into Lightroom, do you have to make the folder first using Finder, or can Lightroom make the folder for it
Yep.
to go into?
Yeah, so you go to your destination. If you're going to tell Lightroom to make the destination date and choosing your date format, okay, if it's not there, it will make the destination for you.
Right. Okay.
Okay, but
Yep.
you might want to make the destination. So there's a little plus here. Go plus, create a new folder, pops
Okay.
up the operating system. I want to create a 09 for this month.
Yep.
There it is in the operating system. Press choose, and there's the 09. And you can see it's got a little plus on the folder. It's saying that folder is not there. I'm going to create that folder. That date folder is not there.
Yep.
And at the moment, I've got 45 ticked. So 45 ticked images in the center panel. There's
Yep.
45 images there, and they're all going to go in there. So there's not one way of doing it.
Okay.
I'll do it that way. I've learned how to do it that way. I understand how to do it that way. I'm going to do it that way. You could just go into Finder or Explorer, go right click, create a folder, and then go click and then just go and find it. There it is. Or you can do it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay.
Sorry, Mark, but just before
Yes,
you
David.
move on, but what you're saying is in that scenario is that as long as you've got the date, the 2025 in, it will create the each folder as you go along through the months.
Correct.
Yeah.
Depending on how the / is, it's going to create a 2025. Then it's going to create a 09 underneath it. 2025 03, and then it puts the date in. That's what the / means. It's going to do a hierarchical structure. Okay, so 2025, underneath it goes 09, which is here, and underneath that will go 29. So in there will be, in this case, 22. Right? If you want to put the whole thing as a date structure, so 09, and this is my file format, in the month, so 2025. The reason why I do this, okay? Let's have a look this side. See, look, I've got a big long list of all the dates that this catalogue has got in. So in 2018, as somebody that's always got a camera with him, That's always taking pictures on his smartphones. How many folders am I going to have under 2018 or 2025?
365.
Exactly. I'm going to have a folder for most days of the year that I've taken pictures. So I'm going to be up and down, up and down, up and down, trying to find them. But if I've got them in structures of 01, what's 01 January, right? I'm now going to have the year followed by 12 folders, followed by a maximum of 31 folders. So I'm not having to go up and down, up and down. It's within the size of my screen. So that's the reason why I do it. Because I was having these big long lists of folder structures in the old days when I worked in the folder structure. I was having big long lists. Right, as you can see now, here we go. Right, 1, 3, 4, 5, 8. Nice and simple. Then I expand it, and then in this case, I've got months, I've got dates. That's the 6th of the 8th, 2025. That's the system that's used here. Okay. Right, and every time I see a grayed out folder, which means it's empty, I remove it, tidying it up, which I haven't got any of. Okay. So again, so we can do all that in our importing. Okay. It's about a methodical understanding workflow. So when the system goes wrong, which it will go wrong, I guarantee it, your brakes will wear out, you'll get low on fuel. Yeah. At one point, because we're all human, you've got this methodical understanding. See, the other reason why Classic goes wrong tomorrow, your computer breaks down tomorrow, but your pictures are on an external drive. If you understand the filing structure, date and time, which we all do, you can plug your drive into another computer and just use the operating system to find those images. So you go to Explorer, Finder, click on the day, click on the month, click on the date while you're waiting for your new computer, or while you're waiting for it to be fixed, or while you can go and get the picture, or you can at least still continue your photography and drag them into the same date structure outside of Classic until it's fixed. So I'm not relying on Classic. My workflow is stress test, it's due diligence. What happens if my catalog corrupts? What happens if that drive goes down? Customers don't want to hear, photo judges don't want to hear excuses. Publishers don't want to hear, oh, terribly sorry. Oh, no, don't worry about it. You've missed the cutoff. You're not going to be in this month's magazine, and you're not going to get your pictures in the magazine next month. Yeah. So everything that I've done, and I've listened to hundreds, if not thousands, of other photographers and learned from them, from their experiences, and stress testing and working from my workflow and working with students and doctors and professors and so on. How do they use it? Why do they use it? It's a tried and tested approach. Not the right approach, it's not the wrong approach, but I've tested it and it works. It works for me. Add to collection. For me, this is the most interesting and important tick box, because whatever I ask it to do here, I can add it to a collection. I can walk away, sit downstairs with my smartphone, with my tablet, and I can watch this happening in real time on my device. And I can cull them. I can pick and reject. I can do a bit of editing on my tablet with my family, sit in the garden with some Pims or whatever, or with the log fire outside, in the autumn nights, etc. Because I've ticked this box, I've created a collection, I've synced them to the cloud. And when I realized what I could do, not what I should, what I could do with this tick box, and putting them into a collection and then in the cloud, that was a big mind blow for it. So that's a real important tick box for me, and we'll look at that really closely next week. File renaming. I would suggest that you renamed your files. Don't have to, but you can create a preset. And here's my preset. Copyright, you can type anything you want, all the EXIF data, metadata, you can create whatever you want. And my file name structure, as I demonstrated earlier, tells me who owns the copyright, the date it was taken, the time it was taken, the camera it was taken. So this was taken on a D3S, it's part of a HDR D3S, and the shutter actuation number was 6,180. I can tell that. Now, why have I got that there? Well, I know the D3S, Nikon D3S, was a 12 million pixel sensor. I now know when somebody asks me the question, what size print can I have? Up to an A1 print from there. I know that from the file name. Okay. Might be irrelevant to people, but it is relevant for me. Okay, during import, really, really clever, this bit. Apply your keywords. Minehead. It's going to apply the Minehead keyword to the images I import. Why would we do that? Anybody?
You can search on the word alone.
Yeah. Okay, so you're actually filing your images on import because we use keywords. We use smart collections. Smart collection with the keyword Minehead. All my images in Minehead are in that smart collection. I can then use the filter bar, the library filter bar up here to say, show me all the images, okay, on a particular date. So if I'm looking in a collection, keywords Minehead, show me the date. Show me all the, so if I had in my work collection, okay, show me all the pictures taken in August. Boom. In Minehead, with the keyword of Minehead, in August, there they all are. I've done it on import. I haven't got to do this action later and that's why when we do keywording, which will be later on, it'll be we put what I call a basic keywords. So it might be, for example, this image. Minehead, comma, beach, comma, sunrise, comma, Butlins, comma, blue, comma, sky. Okay. And from my smart collections, it'll automatically populate those smart collections with those images. And I can say, show me all the images that were taken on Minehead Beach this year. They've got the keyword, show me in the collection that the picture is taken in Minehead that's got the keyword of beach that was taken at a certain time that has not been edited. What does that say to me? It's a new image. Nobody's ever seen it before. And I can do that in 3 clicks. Don't have to go hunting for it. I look in one place, one collection, then say, show me the information. And it's all about importing. Okay, so develop settings. You can process. If you've got a style that you like, a lot of modern mirrorless cameras are really contrasty, saturation, colors and so on. You can actually knock back the saturation on import, the dehaze, the slider. You can knock that back. You can have a preset, develop preset to knock back So they're not so saturated. So when you see them immediately, you know you can still adjust it. It's only a line in the catalog, but it applies it. But perhaps you did a start, perhaps you photograph old steam trains and you want them all black and white. Well, we come down here, there we go, black and white presets. You can create your own presets and you can do all of that on import. Okay. Then we have metadata, and that is IPTC metadata. Okay, so this is all this information about that we're telling Lightroom about the image. EXIF data is what comes from the camera. So that could be GPS, that shutter speed, did the flash fire, what was our f-stop, what was our shutter speed, what was our white balance, you've got the drift. Everything that comes from the camera is EXIF data. Everything that we tell is IPTC. Mr. Weeks, International Press Telegraph Council, or is it code?
Pass.
Pass. I think it's council. I think that's what IPT stands for. And what it is, it's a standard, but it's a standard of references across industry. So Jay and I have had conversation about Flickr title and headline. Title, Lightroom and the IPTC Council says title is the title of the photograph. Headline is what a newspaper would use. As you can see, it says content. So the photograph could be Boris Johnson meets Prince Charles or Prince William or whatever. Yeah, Boris Johnson meets Prince William. That's what the photograph is. The headline to the newspaper article, the former Prime Minister meets the second in line for the throne. So they're two different things. One is the title of the image, the one is the headline of an article. Because they're cross industries. Remember, Lightroom has to be or is for everyone. You could put headline and title being exactly the same, and that's fine. But the option is there to use it, not use it for this or use it for that. So a preset, and I'll give you a real case scenario in a second, is the information I want to give the image. I used to do a lot of rugby, Twickenham and so on, and cricket, and I would have a preset for every location. So Somerset Cricket Club, the Oval, Lords, etc. So I didn't have to keep typing in the address all the time. And all I would type in is I would copy it each time, and I'd type in who was playing. Sussex versus Somerset at the county grounds, Taunton. So all this information here would all be correct for the location. Okay. And I've saved it as a preset. So I haven't got to go away and find all this information out from my client. My client wants this information. Okay. And when you export it, you can include it or not. Okay. So for example, credit line and source. You might be working for a newspaper. They own the copyright. They've supplied the camera. They're employing you. The credit line, you see it with Adobe stock. Adobe stock / and the name of the creator. Okay, that's what the credit line is. Source is where it's come from. Could be two different things. So you can program all this information in. And as you add plugins, you start getting more and more information. And there's a box down here for keywords as well. So that's what that's for. Again, thinking about what you do, you can speed up your workflow. And the boxes are adding additional information. So you might have a preset for golden eagles, and you've now taken, you've got some with catching salmon. Well, you haven't got keywords in that in a preset. You just add the keywords here. Okay.
Can you change the EXIF data?
No. The only time I'll ever change EXIF data is if I haven't changed my time zone.
Right. So you can't, on import, you can't change the camera in the EXIF.
Not that I'm aware of. Not off the
Right.
top of my head.
No,
Not,
no.
not, not.
You can probably change what you can change inside Lightroom.
Yeah, you'd have to do that afterwards, I think.
Right.
I'll have a think about that. But my first gut
No,
instinct, well, let's see, there's camera model here, but this is under video.
right.
My gut instinct is no, but I'll have a think about it. Not something,
That's my gut feeling too, is
yeah,
no.
is no. But I'm sure under preview there
Now
is.
Flickr takes headline and Lightroom Web takes title.
Okay, if you say so. So there is under preferences presets, there's some presets that you can do here. So you
The
might be able to change it.
camera model is grayed out.
Okay. Yeah, that's because it's not overwrite specific camera settings. So this bit here is not ticked.
Right.
So create a default. So I'll have a think, but my gut instinct is no, but there may be a way around. It's not something I've ever done, so I've not somewhere I've ever learned. So okay, so that's a lot to take in. Two last bits, or yeah, two last bits. So I mentioned here, this is a preset. So everything you put in here, once you've put it in here, you go save as a new preset, done a preset, test, everything that's you're recording this moment in time. Okay, that's what you're doing. All these settings, whatever they are. And you go, right, okay, come down to here, go to test, boom. And everything that we are now on this screen, apart from the location where it's coming from, and I always double check the destination, it's going to apply it. So this one-to-one handling and so on, renaming, importing, develop metadata, everything is on this preset. It's going to, everything that I've asked it now, and then just hit import and that's it done. So it's click the location, change the preset, hit import, walk away.
Mark, can I just
Yes,
add,
David.
as you're importing, if you're
Yeah,
using a preset and then
yeah,
you add a keyword, you simply put it in keywords,
yeah.
and then how would you save that?
You would update. So you could have it sort of save as a new preset. You can rename it.
If you
You
want
just
to add
add a
to a,
new, you can have as many presets as you like.
yeah, but if you
So
just wanted to add, as you just did an
yes,
example, you add an extra word to it,
yeah.
how would you do that?
Well, you would so if you are changing the preset,
Now, if you were
I
saving,
what I would do is there's the preset we got. Now I'm adding a new keyword to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I would then save it and delete the old preset because there isn't an update.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
So it says that way. Or what I would do is under the presets under metadata, I'd add the keyword here and then save the preset with the new updated keywords. So if you had in here otter, mull, rock, etc., and so on, and you wanted to put a new word in here, but bearing in mind that's going to add that every single time because you've added it to a preset. So this is a preset within a preset. All right. So if you select this preset here with this preset here, all right, just saying that, and then save that, you have got, is it now? Oh, you can update. There you go. Look, because I hadn't changed it, you can update it. Oh, I thought that was weird. Right. So if you add a preset within a preset within a preset, you got to remember that if you change the lower, so it's hierarchical. If you change the lower preset, it's going to update that preset. Yeah. So there you go. There's your answer. Okay, David?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, and then the last, these three buttons down here. You're doing all this and you get shouted at. Your tea's getting cold. Just hit done. Saves it all. It just records everything the way it is at the moment. Just saves it all. Boom, that's it. And so if I hit done, doesn't import, just saves it all. If I go back to import, it'll be back to what I had before. Press cancel, it'll go back to the previous. So how I was before I hit done. Okay, you can see, look, save changes to import settings. Right, return to catalog without adding photographs. And if you hit import, import selected photographs to the catalog as you've done it. Okay. Who's got the beer?
Mark,
Yes.
how many catalogs do you have?
Sorry?
How many catalogs do you have?
I have two. Well, three. So I have one catalog that is all my work stuff. And I include my family in that lot. So I've got 500,480,000 images in there. I have another catalog for and they're all raw files with some JPEGs, with some videos. When I use this, and I only use this with picture styles, I don't want to contaminate those picture styles. So I have a very small catalog that's got a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000 images in there that doesn't sync to the cloud. And with that, and I use that for the picture styles. And then I have this training catalog, which is why I say three. Please bear in mind that Classic will only allow you to sync one catalog to the cloud. Okay, so you can Classic will take millions of photographs, no problem at all. It's the speed of your computer, the investment in your computer and your hard drives that is the restrictions. It's not the catalog, and it's how you use Classic. I've seen catalogs with 2 million images in them, and it runs perfectly well. It's because it's a methodical structure. They will create one-to-one previews of the work they're currently working on. They'll create smart previews. Once they've finished doing that work, that assignment, whatever it is, they will remove the smart previews. They'll remove the one-to-ones. They'll put it on a slow external drive, just move them into their final resting place, I call it, and they'll go on to the next project. So they've got this bookcase, millions of books on the bookcase. They only go to the bookcase when they want that book, and then they bring that book back and it sits on their desk and they're reading that book, or by the side of the bed. That's on that fast drive. And they're doing what they need to do to that, and it's nice and fast and so on. But when they finish with that book, whether it's a textbook or whatever, and so on, they go and put it back on that bookshelf and it sits there. But when they need it again, that client phones up or they want to enter that photo competition, they walk over to the bookcase and go and get the book and bring it back and put it on that fast drive, and it's working really. And that's the workflow. I pinched that workflow from somebody in New York. I'm sitting there, why am I doing that? And that was like 6-7 years ago. And this is what the whole thing about this is: we share ideas. You know, David Wicks will know this saying, I'll give you my time, I'll give you my knowledge, but I'm sorry, I can't pay for you as well. I ain't cheap doing these things. But yeah. So yeah, it's Classic. You in my opinion, it's one catalog for all your images, and then a methodical
You mentioned
filing
that
system.
you save the raw images.
Mm-hmm.
to the catalog. What about the DNGs? Or is that what you're talking about?
Well, that is a raw file.
Okay, yeah.
That's so DNG, NEF, CR2, CR3. What other ones are there out there? Anyone?
ORFs?
Olympus is ORF.
ORF. They all what they call not Adobe's one. They're called proprietary formats. So it's the manufacturer's format. It's a raw file. What is a raw file? It's an unprocessed. You press your shutter button and it does not process it in the camera. It's as you program this camera. That's what a raw file is. Yeah, it captures all the data. So it's like going, and I talk about food a lot. It's like you going shopping at Tesco's or Walmart, and you're walking down the aisle and you need that and you need that and you need that to make your dinner. But you only want 300 grams. But it comes in a pack of 500 grams of mince. You don't need all that data to process the file, but you've captured all that data. You've purchased all that data, all those ingredients, and then you then cook your meal, but you've got 200 grams of mince left over. Well, you don't need all that data. And that's what happens in your camera. When you shoot in JPEG, it takes, and the computer in your phone, in your camera, works it all out and says, don't need this, don't need that, don't need that, don't need this. And it discards them and it gives you a JPEG file. Well, a raw file is you press the button, it saves everything and keeps everything. And then you come along with a raw editor and say, I now want to edit those files. So that's what a raw file is, basically. All right, so DNG is Adobe's format, NEF is Nikon, CR2, CR3 is Canon, OFT, did you say, Jay?
ORF.
ORF is Olympus. Anyone else?
RAF, Fuji.
Yeah, so they're all different, different manufacturers have got different things. And red with that manufacturer will be a different recipe of RGB to get that red with Nikon. Everyone's got their own rules, own system. And this is where Adobe said, I'm going to create a DNG file. So it's a common denominator across everything.
Also, what they put in the EXF file can be different too.
Yeah. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's art. It's a photograph. And if you don't like it, but you like it, and you like it, and you don't like it, that's all fine. Who are you taking the photograph for? Taking it for me or the person that's giving me the money? And if I like it, that's all that matters. And if you like it, it's a big compliment. But I respect your opinion that you don't like it. It's fine. Don't even ask now why you don't like it. I've got past that emotional. I've got grumpier, grayer. I've got past that emotional attachment to the image. Did I answer your question, Paul?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Right. Next question. Mr. Wicks.
This evening.
No? Evening, you right? Anyone got any questions about tonight or anything about Lightroom?
I have a quick question.
Go on, Claudia.
Hello. Sorry, I was late by 10 minutes, by the way.
No problem. You'll get the recording.
Excellent. Thank you. So I have a question on the import. So when you talked about having created a preset and you put all the relevant data that you want to import at that point in time directly from the camera or SD card, just say, because I think someone else asked the question earlier about keywords, say you wanted to update it and you said there's a bottom bar that you could click and then it updates. But just say, hypothetically, you've done your import, you thought about the keywords at that point in time, created the preset, then brought all your images in, and then once you've got it in your smart collections or you've already put it in your subfolders there on the left, then can you add then more keywords like as you thought of it thereafter?
Yeah.
So it will
Okay.
just
So,
go for
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. No,
Thank you.
you're totally right in what you're saying. So I have got, and I don't expect, because we all got different needs here. Okay. My images are products that I sell or products that I publish. Some people might just want, it's a hobby, and the closest they'll get to is a photo club competition. Brilliant. So all they want to do is find that image. Yeah. I've created my own stock library. I've got fed up of Adobe paying me 96 pence for an image. Okay, I earn a couple of £100 a month from Adobe. I'll give that up to make my images more exclusive, and I'm charging from £6 an image, not 96 pence, to £30 an image, royalty free to a customer. Right? So my need for keywording and metadata, getting to your point, is different. So I've got two stages of keywords. I've got importing keywords. I can find the image. I'm the only person that knows what's going around in my brain in my little left toe. Yeah. I know how that works. And then I've got exporting keywords. So that is, I've done all my metadata. I like the image. I've edited the image. I put a title, description, headline. I've done everything. I've put the copyright information on. I've put the licensing information for Google. I've done all that. Now it's additional keywords so that the search engines can pick it up, or clients, prospects can find it. So when I import those are help me find it. Then when I export, because if you think about it, if I'm importing 1,000 images and I'm putting 80 keywords on every single image, that's going to take a long time, and my keyword list is going to be massive. But out of those 1,000 images, there might only be 10 that I use, and the keywords, there might only be additional 10 keywords. So again, it's time. So I will keyword on export. Once I've gone, right, that's the image, it's ready to roll, I'll add the additional keywords to that image. And that could be via a keyword set, could be via the keyword list, or manually typing them in. So there's no right or wrong answer. You can sit there and go, right, I want to throw all the keywords at it at import, and that's fine. But you're going to have a hell of a lot of keywords. Or you could sit there and say, right, I just want to find them myself. And that will be most photographers. So, for example, for one person that's here, otters, mull. To find those pictures, mull, where the otters were, and it's an otter. So 2 keywords. What else is in the catalogue that's in your brain? The date and time. Oh, that was October last year we went. So you go otters, mull, from the drop down, 2024, October. There's all the pictures. I found them. And if you've picked them or color labeled them, so pick is, I've done a video today I put up on YouTube about culling, picking and rejecting. If you're picking it, so you sit there and go, show me all the pictures on a smart collection, otters in mull, select the drop down for the date and show me the picked ones. And you've got 11 images left out of 3,000 images that you've taken. So it's about where do I want to get to? What tools are available to me to get me to that destination? And then how do your brain work? What's methodical to you, maybe not to somebody else. And that's fine. that help?
It does. I guess when we come to look at smart collections and maybe the left-hand panel, when we start to break down the import
Yeah,
of the well, no, I shouldn't say catalog. Shall we say library of images? You know, on the grid
yeah,
view, and then you then do your picks and select. You know, when you flag and you either cull by doing the X
hmm
key and that, and then you put them into that kind of subfolder, if you will, like a collection. I
yeah,
may be mixing my
yeah, yeah. I
terminology,
understand.
but you know what I mean. It is like a subfolder. I guess what I'm trying to decipher is all that information you put on import, just say you come to a stage where you are filing and tidying up your
Hmm
library of images, and then you decided, oh, I forgot to do this at import. Can you just
Yeah,
add it to
yeah.
that
Oh, yeah,
batch?
yeah,
You just do
yeah,
that thereafter, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, just check,
yeah,
just checking.
yeah, yeah. You can do anything that you want to do.
All
But,
right.
and your catalog will never be 100%. There'll always be something because your photography will change, your mindset will change, your camera equipment will change, your lenses will change, what you photograph will change, and so it's a living, breathing agency. It never get you sit there and you go, you'll get to a point and go, oh, brilliant, and all of a sudden, Adobe will bring out a new functionality. Oh, bloody hell. That's brilliant. But I've now got to change the whole of my workflow because the end goal is such an incentive. So you've got to sit there and work that out and go, right, okay. So it's a whole moving chessboard. But understanding what the pieces do and how you want to use them is the important thing. And that's why my learning style is to show you what the tool does, not tell you how to use it. I can show you different ways to use it, but not tell you how to use it because I don't know your situation. I don't know what you photograph. But yes, you import it, you work it all out, and then you can add later, you can change and so on. And you can keep adapting, 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 adapting as you learn, as you grow in your post-processing, in your photography, in your style, in your palette, your taste of photography. Lightroom will grow with you. It's every tool to every photographer.
Mark, just to go on from what Claudia was saying, if
Yes, David.
somebody put in with a preset otters,
Yeah,
mole,
yeah,
and then they brought them all in, and
yeah,
then they thought, ah, I should have added water.
yeah,
You just highlight it, would you not, and
yeah,
just
yeah.
add the word
Just
water? Would that
yeah.
add to the preset, or would it just
No, you'd have to that's a different transaction. Remember,
no? Fair
I've
enough.
said in the past it's about asking questions. Okay, so they're transactions. You're going to do input, output, right? A monitor is an output transaction. A keyboard is an input transaction. A camera is input and output, but you're transferring it, so you're importing, yeah, input output devices, you're asking questions. So to add the additional keyword, okay. Okay, so I've got some images here. Let's have a quick look. All right, so there's no keyword here at all. So these haven't been imported, all right? So these were taken, they're raw files. So this is my smart collection. They're raw files, they're DNG files, and they were taken on November the 6th, 2024. So there's all the images, okay? All right, and there's no keywords on them at all. So if I just wanted to add to this one, Minehead, right? There it is. Minehead's there. If I wanted to add streets to that one, right? That's it. I've now done it. Oops. Okay. So if I wanted to add Minehead to all of them, now you can see Jay asked the other week about the little star. It's saying there is keywords on there. Okay. But they're not on every image. So if I now just type Minehead to return, there we go. And the reason why this is on here, this bit, it's telling me it's held within a hierarchical structure. So it's here, UK, and that Somerset is actually being exported. So it was originally set up wrong, and I deliberately did that to show people. So now what I would do is I would first deselect and then create a new keyword, call it Minehead. So I want to put it inside Somerset. And now I've created that keyword, and it'll be in alphabetical order somewhere. There it is there. Okay. So now I'm going to go select all images, going to drag that keyword on. But now I'm going to go to my places, and there's the old Minehead keyword. It's got 56 on there. So I'm going to hit the little triangle. There's the 56 images. There's the ones that have got, so the ones that are highlighted, these ones here, they've got this one on because it's ticked. The ones that are grayed, the darker, haven't got it on. So I'm now going to go select all, going to add that, keep the new Minehead keyword on. Now I'm going to take the old Minehead keyword off. All right. And it should now, there we go. I haven't got, okay, I've just got the word Minehead in there. And then what I would do is I'd go back and I'd tidy this up, and I would delete that keyword and drag that into there. And there we go. And it's updating them in the cloud. It's everything to everyone. You just got to learn a way of how does it work for you. But I'm quietly confident 9 times out of 10, when you ask a question, the answer is yes. It's just, how would you do it? And sometimes, to be honest, I don't have the answer. I'd have to sit and think about it. Like Jay's asked the question. I'm sure it doesn't do it, but I'm sure there's a way around it. Okay. Anyone else, any questions? Yes, Jay.
I've got a collection. It's like 130 pictures,
Yep.
and I'm picking and rejecting. I know how to display just the picked, but how can I tell how many I've picked? Because the collection shows the total amount, including rejected and picked.
Go up to your filter bar, click on attributes, change the column to flagged, and it will tell you how many picked, how many rejected, how many unflagged in the column.
Okay, so I do picked. Where does it tell me how many?
Should to the right hand side, if off the top of my head. So flagged, yeah. So I'm in the library filter. So I'm in the library bar, library.
Yeah, library.
Yeah. So I've changed the column. So I'm in the library filter at the top.
Yeah, and I clicked attribute.
Yeah, and then you got your columns. You got your 4 or your 6 columns.
The flag.
Yeah, change it to flag, and then
clicked on the flag.
I've got unflagged 58. There you go.
Oh, how did you get that? Oh, under metadata.
Yeah, under metadata. So you got
And
flag.
then click on, oh, I get it. Then it says 48.
Yeah, so if I click here.
Okay, so I was going to, I didn't click on metadata.
Right, so there we go. Unflagged 1,857. And then if I click there and go pick, go back. And there we go, got 3 flagged now.
Great, thank you. That tells me.
And if you want this locked, there's a padlock up here, and when you click around, it will stay the same. Okay.
What did you lock? Oh, locked up there.
Underneath the word book, there's a little lock,
yes,
custom filter.
Right.
And if underneath the lock, there's a little hamburger, a little tiny one, and you can add up to 2 more columns, 6 columns. And these are questions. So the question is, I'm looking in images, or I'm looking in 2015, and these are questions. Okay, so in 2011, show me the date. So that's 2011. I've got 14 images, and these are the dates. Show me the cameras. So in 2000, there's a Canon, there's a Nikon, there's a Nikon. Then show me the lens. Okay, so 16mm, 85mm, unknown. Show me if it's picked. Okay, they're all unflagged. So I'm asking questions. At every point, I'm asking questions. All right. So, but if I
Yes,
click
thank you.
here to that, now it's changed to 2017. So now look at all the answers I've got to cameras. So Canon, because these are stock images, Canon, Sony, I think that's a Panasonic, Nikon, that's a 150mm to 600mm. Okay, and I can change challenge, and you can say, right, oh, well, I knew I would. I've got this picture in my mind. Oh, what? Oh, it was when we went to Cyprus, right? So that was 2015. I haven't keyworded it. I haven't done this. I've been a naughty boy. So what do I know in my head? Right, I went to Cyprus in 2016, which I had a Nikon 610 then with a 150 600, I think. So I go to my 2017, I search on my cameras, I search on the lens, there's the image. Yeah,
Right.
because that is EXIF data. And EXIF data comes from the camera. But because I knew I was there in 2017 and I knew that it was October, the whatever, we went then and so on, I can find the picture. And this is what digital asset management allows you to do. Photoshop, yes, I know this bridge, is a single image applicator or application. Doesn't allow you to do that. And you wait till we get on to editing and you can sync all your edits. None more of this doing, saving an action and all the rest of it in Photoshop. Okay. All right, Jay, you found that?
Yes, thank you. That's very
Good.
helpful.
Next question. Anyone?
I have one.
Go on,
Mark.
Mr. Wilkinson.
I've asked you this once before, actually, but my CFs eject every time, and then I get a big sign up saying, and you said something about it was something to do with the speed, but how can I get around that? Because presumably, because it is ejecting incorrectly, I could be losing images through that, couldn't I?
Do you format your card every time you finish with it? You format it in camera.
Yes.
I think you've got a weak link somewhere in your system.
Me, probably.
Yeah, whether it's not you, whether it's the card, whether it's the card reader, whether it's the camera, and you need to be Sherlock Holmes to work it out. You need to find somebody that's got a machine that you can run something, another computer. This is why, I've got redundancy. I've got two machines sitting here. So if I've got a problem here, I can go and test it on that machine. It's the same chip. It's virtually the same RAM. It's the same Lightroom. I can take that drive and plug it in there and I can test it and go, right, what's the problem? Is it the lead? Is it this? Is it that? And you just work it out what it is. And you got one computer. Is it the port on the computer? Is it the cable? Is it you plug yours into the camera? Is it the port on the camera? Well, let's start with the cheapest thing. Let's go and buy a decent cable. A 120 watt Thunderbolt 5 cable. Boom. Let's test that. Or Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt 3, depending on what your ports are on your MacBook. So go and buy the appropriate cable. It probably is just the cable. The cable's £13. I bought a cable for this. I think I spent 250 quid on cables for this. And they weren't all Thunderbolt 5. I bought Thunderbolt 5 cables, which is the whatever it is, 2000 gigabits per second. Oh, God knows, 120 gigabits per second, whatever it is. I only bought them for the drives. I didn't need a Thunderbolt 5 for the monitor. I've got Thunderbolt 4 for that. But they're like £80 each. Well, if you've got a card that's trying to transmit at 120 gigabits per second, but you've got a cable that will only take 6 gigabits per second, your computer's going to sit there and go, nah, don't like that. And it's going to throw your toys out the pram. So that's where you need, that's why I sent you my SD card reader and a cable for you to try it out. So that would, I'd start with your cable.
Yeah, that was another issue, but yeah, I'll take your point.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about it tomorrow, but I would start with who do you know that you at devices that can take along a decent cable. So I don't know what laptop. I know you got a Mac laptop, but I don't. Go and find out what ports it's got on the laptop. Is it Thunderbolt 3, Thunderbolt 4, Thunderbolt 5? It'll be 3 or 4, I expect. Get a Thunderbolt 3 or 4 cable and plug it into your camera. And then try and import them there and see what happens. Okay, but cables are backward compatible. So if you buy a Thunderbolt 4, which I don't think yours is Thunderbolt 4, I think yours is Thunderbolt 3 from the age of your computer. Go and buy a Thunderbolt 3 cable, a proper one from OWC or whoever, etc., makes decent ones. I think Belkin makes them and so on. Don't buy them from a reputable source. And if you buy them from Amazon, make sure they come from the manufacturer and not a reseller. And start with that. Plug it into there and see if that then have a chat, have a chat with Apple online and get them to see if they can diagnose the port online, which they do. You can have or go to a Genius bar next time you're in Bath, Bristol, whatever, and so on, and get them to test the port, see if the port's faulty. Yeah. See if the port on the camera's faulty. Use a CF card reader and try that. You have to be a bit of a detective.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
I don't know where I put it, but anyway. So, yeah, I would start with the cable. If it keeps ejecting, that's what I'd start with. Start with the cable.
Could be worrying if I have to buy another Z9 to test that.
Send it back to Nikon and ask them to do a service on it. But yeah.
All right, thank you.
Can't take it with you. I'll be well paid off if I've spent all this money and I could take it with me, but there we go. I'll take my ZF. I'll take that with me. If I had to choose one camera, it'd either be this or my infrared Z5. Oh well, there we go. Unless I was going film. Anyway, anyone else got any questions? No? Okay. Well, lovely to see you. There's no Lightroom this time next week. There is on Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're going to look at tone curve in Classic. And then the following Wednesday, I'll be in France photographing the D-Day beaches and the Mulberry Harbours. And there's a particular control German command center I want to go to. So I'll be doing a lot of audio and video work over there as part of my PhD. So I'll be on my laptop. So it's an open question session. Any question, anything you want to go through, doesn't matter how small, how large it is. If you want to do a bit of importing before the following week, yeah, we can do that. Whatever you want to do. Okay, so get your thinking caps on, if you may, and that's what we've got. So next Wednesday. No questions? No? Okay then. Right. Been lovely to see you. I hope I've explained the import panel for you, and we'll do some importing in a couple of weeks' time.
Cheers, Mark.
Last chance for questions. No questions? All right. Have a safe week. Enjoy your photography. All the best.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank
See you, John.